to the Slip Cordon.
Hey guys, welcome to the first ever episode of the Slip Cordon. This is me, your boy Kibbs. I got the lads here with me, Nabi and Afi. We're about to start our new venture.
Hey.
So this is the first episode. We're just gonna allow you guys to get to know us, about who we are, how we got into cricket, what we still do around with cricket, and why we came about in starting this podcast. So hope you guys enjoy it. Stay tuned for more quality content coming up weekly. We're just gonna allow you guys to take a in we're just gonna take an in-depth look into everything that's about cricket, about Bangladesh cricket, and we'll just allow you guys to go on this journey with us.
So it's basically
for any small blunders we might make, because this is our first ever episode. Like in the future, like hopefully we'll be able to provide you guys with A1 quality content.
so this basically started from watching cricket in my basement, and every time we watch a cricket game, we have go into some in-depth analysis from like batting, how the batsman is holding its bat, to the background story of how that venue or what the curator said 2 days before the tests began, and how the pitch is going to react. And we also sometimes give into a lot of rumors, and that's also a part of our in-depth analysis at times. So we thought, why not share it with everyone, because I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people out there like us who also enjoy all the nitty-gritty details about the game. So that's how we started, and we thought of doing this podcast. So we have all been involved in cricket for a while, since we were kids, most of us. We still play cricket. We three are actually, like, we play in the same team, so that's how we bonded over cricket too. So cricket is a huge part of our lives, and that's what these podcasts are going to be. We're just going to talk about the recent and the most current stories about the cricketing world, and try to share our viewpoint of it, and also give you guys whatever is going on around us.
Yeah, we probably spent like a lot of time in your basement watching lots of cricket games over
Lots of cricket.
last 4 years, right? And
Like as we're doing this, we're actually watching the current ongoing India versus Australia match,
and we probably spend more time with each other.
Hey, Pan got out in 97, man. He could save this test.
Bro, this guy legit had the chance to make his career in this one test match. Like, he was on 97. He was going at a good strike rate.
He was saving it for India.
He could have solidified his career from the Indian team in that position for the next 5 years. But like, punt being punt, he had to like go down the wicket, play over extra cover to Nathan Lyon, the GOAT, and like as usual ended up getting out.
So, Afi, how did you get into cricket?
For me, like, I've always been around cricket. My uncle was a cricketer, and like a big part of my childhood was growing up like around him and seeing him going to different tours around Bangladesh, and he was always someone who I looked up to. But I didn't really play cricket that much in the beginning. I was more into sports like soccer and stuff. But in 2006, we ended up moving our place, moving houses, and we ended up moving to a new place in Dhaka. And over there, I just saw all the older guys playing cricket. The guys were older than me, and that was I would say like that's where my foundation of cricket actually started, and that's how I got into the game. We used to play like 2-3 day matches over there, and we used to play in the rooftops. We used to play on the streets. We had a field with us in the house. We were only allowed to play straight, and yeah, like.
You probably have some guy scoring 1,000 runs by just tapping it into the walls and stuff, right?
Definitely. Nothing beats chop cricket.
Yeah. I think for me, I think my introduction to cricket's a little more different than probably a lot of more people, because, I was growing up, my parents were they're still both doctors, and, time in front of the TV was limited, because I was wearing glasses since I was like 3 years old. And so I think one day my mom was out, and the caretaker in our house, he really wanted to watch the Bangladesh versus Zimbabwe test that was going on. And this is the first test win for Bangladesh. And I just remember watching this game, and You had Enamul Haq Jr. and Muhammad Rafiq going at it with the with the Zimbabwe guys, and I just saw Rafiq just brushing that ball against his thighs and making it red, and I was like, damn, this is interesting. This is something I could see myself playing, and that's, I guess, where I first got hooked with cricket. Nabi, what about you? Where'd you come from?
I got into cricket very early, like earlier than I can remember. And my first cricket, like I remember when I was a kid, I used to play in my grandma's place on the hallway. It was a long, like,
we all did.
narrow hallway. That's I
Yeah,
guess
yeah.
where I picked up cricket. I used to watch it on the TV, and I used to throw a ball along the hallway, run, and imagine there is a boundary at the end, and I you wear like like trousers
Yeah,
so that I
yeah.
can slide on the floor and save the boundary, right?
Yeah.
So that's how I got into cricket, and then I started playing. I got into a cricket academy when I was in grade 1, and since then I've played cricket for the academy. I played cricket for my school team, but then after that I've had like a huge break in cricket since like I don't know grade 5, 7,
Yeah,
right around
till-
that time.
Till
'Cause-
about 2016, right?
yeah, so
Yeah.
from like almost 2005 and 6 till 2016, a 10 years gap because studies came up, and back in those times cricket wasn't something you could take as a career in Bangladesh.
Yeah,
Right?
fair enough.
So you had to like that was a hobby for sure, and there were studies came up, had to do a lot of stuff, like finish high
Uni
school
and stuff, high
uni,
school, yeah.
and then get a job, like all this stuff you got to do in life.
Plus, you moved to a whole new country
I
by
moved
yourself.
to a whole new country,
Yeah.
and then did university and stuff, which had no room for cricket.
Yeah,
And no one plays
yeah.
cricket here.
Yeah.
And then finally got back into cricket after graduating. when
It's
I-
funny though, like the days when you actually came to Canada,
Yeah.
when you moved, Canada's cricket was probably at its peak.
Oh yeah.
And that is when you
Okay.
probably would have been able to get involved in it, but
Yeah.
obviously living in Hamilton and stuff,
Going to
that you
McMaster
did,
would
right?
have been
And
tough. Yeah.
and it's funny because you are saying that you had a gap from 2005 to 2016ish,
Yeah.
about around that age.
Yeah.
And that's probably when Afnan and I
We
probably learned our
started-
cricket
we
and
started playing. We started
are
playing,
watching our
proper-
cricket in
proper
that
cricket.
in that period
Yeah,
of
it's
time,
funny.
right?
It's funny how it works.
it's-
This is
it's
like same
funny.
story with us, because
Yeah.
when we all moved to Canada, like Nabi moved here for his university. Me and Kibbs, we moved here at a like really young age, and when we moved here, we really thought that like cricket was something we're never gonna play again in our life.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure.
Absolutely,
Did
100%.
not expect
But-
that.
100%.
What we saw after moving here and how we got involved with cricket and how deeply we got involved with cricket, like it's like I'm honestly really grateful for it. The fact that we're still able to like in this country, in a country where cricket isn't the main sport, the fact that we can still keep up with like everything cricket that's going on,
And we
around
can
the
play a
world.
competitive
and
league.
we're
Yeah.
playing we're playing domestic cricket in Canada,
Yeah.
which is like I never imagined myself like actually playing proper
Absolutely.
50
Yeah,
over
yeah,
matches
yeah.
and stuff
Absolutely.
So like that's the thing. Like, how do you think when you moved here?
Yeah.
How do you think like you would stay connected with cricket?
Well, for me, like because at that time my biggest worry wasn't about playing cricket. It was about watching cricket, because like that's what I did most.
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
time.
A lot of us we didn't know if we would be able to watch cricket
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we'd all like hear stories about the time zone differences, staying up all night watching cricket.
Hey,
and, like,
to be fair, like even 5 years ago, the streaming links were
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
garbage.
absolutely.
We're-
absolutely.
we're not there.
Yeah, so the funny thing about how I met Afnan is actually through
it was it was a Facebook post.
we were actually trying to find like the links for the Bangladesh West Indies series
Yeah.
that was happening in 2012,
Yeah.
and so I commented on a post that said like this is supposed to be the live link for the game, a live streaming for the game.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, this is not working or whatever, right? And then this guy comments on my comment and he's like, yo, it's not working for me either. And then he messages me on the side and he's like,
Yeah, because what I did was I stalked this guy on Facebook. I went to his Facebook and I saw because I was already curious because this guy had the same name as me, and then I saw from Dhaka, Bangladesh, went to Oxford International, we went to Oxford, and yeah, so I'm like, okay, this guy has the same name, went to the same school in Bangladesh, so yeah, so
yeah, and then he just hit me up and here we are. What about 8.5 years later?
It's very interesting how we all stayed connected with cricket in very different ways.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Like you said, during the time I was out of it completely. Right.
Yeah.
I haven't touched a bat, a proper, like, I haven't faced one cricket ball in like 10 years. Right.
Yeah.
Must've been
And
tough.
then staying in touch with the game is still it's crazy.
Yeah.
To stay in touch with the game like that.
Yeah.
But I've watched, like, I don't think I've missed one Bangladesh game entirely in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
That's
Right?
same
And-
case for us.
Yeah.
We all know how the time zone works.
Yeah.
Right? It's
Waking up at
crazy.
4 a.m.,
It's
2 a.m.
Crazy
Like-
exams, this and that,
Yeah.
work, labs due during university, this. And now, like, I'm very grateful that, I got to reconnect with cricket again.
Yeah.
And play cricket again, like,
Yeah.
and in a proper league. Have you guys? I know a lot of people who play cricket. Even like watching cricket, staying up with the game now. I'm just more than thankful that I could get back to this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Same. I think like when I moved here,
Yeah.
I didn't think like cricket was even a thing.
No, and
I didn't even
I'm pretty
watch.
sure. I'm pretty sure.
I remember
a
just
lot
going
of
on
the-
Crick Info and like scrolling through the live commentary going on because I didn't even know that live streaming was a thing back in 2010.
Yeah, definitely.
Right?
And also, I'm pretty sure a lot of the audience can relate to this. That it's very difficult to find people also here.
Yeah.
Who like cricket
like
or
cricket.
that much into cricket,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And especially for us living in a country like Canada, it's not that common.
Yeah.
It's not really that common. It's not hockey.
Yeah.
It's not basketball. I mean,
Yes.
although we all are basketball
Bas-
fans,
Go
Yeah.
Raptors.
but always. But
It's not a common sport.
it's not a common
that's
sport.
played by everyone.
You don't find
yeah.
a cricket fan every day,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I'm pretty grateful that we could do that, right?
Yeah.
And we are still being able to do that. Of course, like we hope to continue this post-pandemic.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And I guess that's also something really like I would say peculiar, because you don't really find a lot of cricket like us.
Yeah, so for me, I think like how I'm still connected with cricket is when I came here, I was very fortunate that my middle school had a grade 7, grade 8 cricket team, which I did not think was even a possibility when I moved
Yeah,
into
man.
Canada.
I wouldn't
then-
expect that either.
And then we won a championship just as me and my cousin, we went to the same school. So we got into the team, we won a championship, and I was like, damn, I could be playing cricket here too. Like, it's still a possibility. And then I went into high school when I was in grade 9. There wasn't anyone to take leadership of it and like no one to actually like put together a team. And in high schools and stuff, you have to find teachers who will be teacher supervisors at your games because everyone's under 18 and you can't be left unsupervised at the grounds and stuff. So when I was in grade 10, I started looking early and I found 4 guys. It was hard for me to even find one guy to be agreed to supervise a 3-hour cricket game because we played like 15 or 20 over games. And I found 4 guys who were like more than willing to be supervisors at our games. And then I put together a few guys, got into cricket. And then when I was in grade 12, I joined Bangla Warriors. That's like my first step into like recognized cricket and recognized league cricket. And since then, I've been here playing league cricket for Bangla Warriors, playing for Toronto Rebels. And that's how I met you guys. And here we are filming our first podcast.
For me, like when my cricket came to a pause, that was back when I was I forgot, like grade 6 probably. And that was because I was playing school cricket back then.
Yeah.
And the next step of it was to go to BKSP.
Right.
Like for a camp or something.
Yeah.
But
Which is like the pinnacle for the kids
that
in Bangladesh.
age level,
In
that age level, school level for sure.
It's like the pinnacle,
But
right?
then what happened was, for studies and whatnot, and definitely cricket wasn't the first choice career back then.
Yeah.
So had to pause that.
Yeah.
And because of pausing that, I was always into sports. So I used to play basketball and soccer on the side.
Yeah.
I got heavily involved in those. So I didn't, like a lot of my friends in Canada didn't even know I was playing cricket, right?
Yeah, so when you joined, everyone was like, oh, where's this guy?
Yeah. So everyone was like, "Oh, you play cricket?" I was
Yeah.
like, I was laughing because that's been my best sport throughout, right? But everyone knew that I was playing soccer and basketball, which I love, of course. But I mean, if I was to pick number one, probably would be cricket.
Definitely.
So Afi, we also played like school cricket and then we came into league
We
cricket
came into
together.
league cricket, and now we're like me and Kibir, we played high school cricket together. We played league cricket together for multiple different teams, and now we're playing for our university team together.
So
That's great.
Yeah.
So, moving on a little bit off from how we got into cricket. So I know what you guys like about your favorite players, favorite teams, everything.
Yeah.
But for people listening to us,
Yeah.
so what's your favorite? Who would say yours number one favorite batsman, bowler? I would say best fielder.
Yeah, for me, I think this might be like not a shocker, but it's because since I'm a right-handed batsman and I used to see Dravid batting a lot, and he had that perfect technique, the textbook technique everyone talked about, and this guy just piled on runs after runs going to Australia and all these places. And he was just so nice to look at. And I remember my Nana used to be like, I used to watch cricket with my Nana a lot when he was alive, and he used to be like, this guy's the best player in the world. And I was like, oh man, if I want to play cricket, this is the guy I want to play like. So Dravid's always been like the first guy I always liked as a batsman. In terms of bowler, I would say I didn't have a lot of passion towards bowling at that stage, and I didn't really look into bowling, so I didn't really have a favorite bowler at that time. But I loved when Aftab Ahmed used to field. His fielding was beautiful to me, and I mean, I probably dropped more catches than both of you in my life, but Aftab, when I saw him fielding, I used
That
to
man
be
had
like,
potential. That man was electric on the field when he.
I loved his
started.
fielding and
When he
absolutely loved it. So, for me, those two guys for sure.
What about you, Afi?
For me, because I was never really a batsman. So one guy I really looked up to for bowling, and I was always passionate about fast bowling, and the only one and only guy who I always modeled everything after was Brett Lee. It's like rapid, like quick Yorkers at 160 k's, like
Great action, very smooth,
very smooth
action.
action. And he also has a really like inspirational story as well. Like doctors telling him that like he won't be able to play any form of cricket.
The fight in that, yeah.
So like that type of like fight in him, and like he's my dog, he's my dog. Like, that's all I gotta say. Like who's gonna forget him bowling Yorkers to Sri Lanka at 160 k's per hour. Like that's like.
And this guy was doing his chainsaw celebration till his last moment in BBL when he almost won Sixers a championship.
Oh.
So what about you, Nabi?
So I'll start with my best fielder. I think the single cricket figure that I got into cricket for is probably John T. Rhodes. And you guys play cricket with me.
Go.
You pride yourself with your fielding for sure.
And not only that, all fielding at point.
At point, yeah.
At point.
Yeah.
So I love fielding. Of course, I'm a batsman. I love batting, but fielding just gives me so much joy.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And because I got into cricket, I started watching cricket, and I was fascinated by John T. Rhodes. What he used to do, fly and like dive around, catch like runouts. That 92 runout. I watched that video on YouTube a zillion times, right?
Right.
And when I was a kid growing up, there were no YouTubes.
Yeah.
So I used to wait for Star Sports highlights coming up, right?
Right.
So you guys grew up with YouTube. That's a different story.
And we didn't have the chance to watch John T. Rhodes, right?
You didn't have the chance to watch John T. Rhodes live.
Yeah.
But still,
So-
like watching it on YouTube, you could tell that like that was some really captivating stuff to look at.
So definitely John T. Rhodes.
Yeah.
My favorite bowler. I have quite a few favorites.
You bowl
but
your right arm mediums.
My
sometimes.
right arm mediums, yes, and I think I'm a big fan of seam ups and smooth action. So you know who it is, Sean Pollock.
Sean Pollock.
yeah.
Sean Pollock was, and I know both my favorites are from South Africa here, but great team, great era for South African
Probably
cricket.
deserved that World Cup they almost lost, right?
Always.
Yeah.
They deserve that World Cup. Lance Klusner, another favorite, right?
Yeah.
So, and for my favorite batsman, that's a tough one. There are quite a few. I'm a right-handed batsman, but I loved Brian Lara.
The
Loved.
flair.
The Prince.
I still think there is not like Virat Kohli, amazing legend, right?
Yeah.
Go.
Steve Smith, one of my current favorites. Kane Williamson, my probably most favorite currently.
Yeah.
right? He's
Current
killing
number
it.
one test ranked batsman.
But Brian Lara felt like it was music.
Prince of
You know, it's
Trinidad.
funny. Like he said, since he retired,
Yeah.
he hasn't seen someone blat with that flair and like that
If you
thing
watch,
that he came with, right, in the field, until he saw Fawad Alam batting in that 100 he scored on the Boxing Day test.
Yeah.
He's like, that's probably the first guy he's seen.
I think, I had a lot of hopes. I still have a lot of hopes on a young Indian batsman right now.
Yeah.
I think he is. I mean, this is debatable, but I think he is a perfect mix of Sachin Tendulkar and Brian Lara. Prithvi Shaw.
Prithvi Shaw.
Although
Yeah.
he has not performed lately, which I'm very disappointed about,
Yeah.
and I really expected him to score some big runs in Australia this season.
Yeah.
But I think this guy has potential. I think this guy has massive potential. Like even in his debut test, he scored a century.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's the one to look out for. I mean, yes, of course, India's a great batsman.
Yeah,
India
yeah,
is known for producing amazing batsmen over the decades, right? But Prithvi Shaw has some X factor to his batting.
Yeah.
That just is so captivating, and I really do find like a mixture of Sachin and Brian Lara in that.
Yeah, I think he's been a tad bit unlucky because he's been so heavily criticized by everyone since the IPL about like him getting out cheaply and stuff. But if you just look at his record, and whenever he gives you a brisk start, he takes the game away from the opposition very quickly when he does.
Definitely. And it's still like very early stages for Prithvi Shaw because like if you really want to get into the number game and compare, he still has a better average than like Kohli and a lot of the guys of that stature had in the towards the beginning of their test careers. So it's still like really early stages, and we're pretty sure he's gonna bounce back. Just a few technical things he has to work on, and that's about it.
I got your favorite players. I mean, there's a lot of debate on the different formats of the game these days. I guess there are two different schools.
Yeah.
A lot of I hate to say this, young kids, but a lot of people who are fans of the game, like who got to know the game in the recent years, in like last 5, 7 years, 10 years since IPL started, are a big fan of the shorter formats of the game.
They want the short burst of energy.
Mostly the T20s, yeah. I mean, that's electrifying, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's crazy energy.
Smaller
short
boundaries.
game, smaller boundary, more runs.
We can't
of
forget your
course.
roots. You can't never
But
forget your roots.
that's eye-catching game
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
And we got so many talented players out of the format too, right?
Yeah.
Like we've never seen that much hitting, that big sixes before. Like the whole game changed with T20,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Whole franchising, even like bats got a different like ICC
Dimension,
put,
yeah.
put
Limits on bad
Yeah.
dimensions now, yeah.
So that format definitely brought a lot to cricket.
Yeah.
And it changed the game by a lot. But if I were to ask you guys, what's your top most favorite format of the game?
Yeah, for me, I think it's an easy win. It's I think probably for all of us, it's Test cricket, right? We
Yeah,
just love
yeah.
Test cricket. All the hours we spent on your basement watching Test cricket every
Definitely,
day. The
definitely.
sleepovers we've had probably watching Bangladesh Test matches.
I mean, I love all formats, and I think all formats have a it's great fun to watch.
Yeah, yeah.
But Test cricket tops it all for me.
yeah, like the
like-
way the guys are setting up each other.
It's a lot more. I feel like
The mental strength of cricket really shows in this format.
It's called test for a reason.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a
It
real
tests
test.
a man. It's a
real test.
Tests a man or a woman whoever's playing that test match.
Yes.
It tests you to
Tests
the
you
core.
for
Test your
sure.
fitness, your skills, your mental capacity.
Like for
mental
example,
strength,
in
everything.
T20, just to elaborate on that testing part, in T20s, a bowler bowls 4 overs max.
Yeah.
So if I don't know if Pat Cummins bowling to me, or whoever, like of course not me, I don't want to face that.
That you don't want to be
But-
facing
Rockets.
his rockets.
Pat Cummins bowling to a batsman, and they don't want to face that pace.
yeah.
You can see off Pat Cummins
Yeah.
by being on the non-striker's end or whatever, like facing him for 24
Probably
balls.
half. Yeah.
For 24 balls, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Test cricket, there's no running away.
No.
In Test cricket, if a batsman let's say if you get in T20, the other end of the spectrum, if a batsman doing great, right? There's a lot of if you can't get a batsman out, and he's playing very defensive, the format doesn't allow him to do that, so he has to take risks
yeah.
of his wicket, right?
Yeah.
In Test cricket, if a batsman is sound on his technique and defending amazing,
Yeah.
he has all the time in the world to not give you his wicket.
Yeah.
So there is no external pressure on him.
I mean, Pujara's gone to Australia now, and he's played at a
Pujara-
20 strike rate now. The whole
Pujara
series, right?
has like just held the fort from one end,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean, as much as the critics have like really bashed on him about that.
For the
But-
recent perform, like for the
Yeah,
recent
I mean, that
performances,
test-
though.
Yeah, for sure. But on a collapsing batting order that
Yeah.
has collapsed in the last two innings,
Yeah.
Pujara has done amazing
Yeah.
to hold the fort, right? He has at least shown the ability to hold the fort from one end.
Yeah.
So
And
last,
that's-
last year at the Border Gavaskar Trophy, like Pujara, like if I'm not mistaken, he ended up facing over 1,000 balls during the course of the whole series.
Yeah.
So that really shows the level.
You have to be at.
the level you have to be at, and more than that, I really want to say the price he actually puts on his wicket.
Yeah.
And also, it brings the best out of the bowler.
Yeah.
So in order to get him out, you can't. He's not taking risks.
Yeah.
So you don't have the risk factor working for you, right? Like you have in T20s or even at times in one days, right? Because of the limited format.
Yeah.
But
And even
there-
with captaincy and stuff, right? Like,
Yeah.
Lions got hit for 2 sixes from Pant in 1 over.
Yeah.
In a T20 or a ODI game, a captain would probably be like, all right, I can't afford to bowl this guy anymore because he's going at 12 and over or whatever. And someone else comes on, and that guy hasn't bowled as many now. But in Test cricket, you got to come back and you got to bowl your overs out, and you got to hold up that one end and restrict the guy
guess-
or get him out, right?
I guess that's the beauty of the game, right? No external force other than your sheer quality
Yeah.
is in the game.
Yeah.
Right? And for batsmen, for fielders even, right? It takes a huge ton of concentration to field 90 overs out in the sun. And also Test cricket got its new, bells and whistles too. Like we got names on the back these days.
Yeah.
We got the ping ball test. I love that. Right, day night
The
test.
DRS coming
The DRS coming in handy, man.
Yeah.
All these players who got out for like bad umpire decisions.
probably had
Probably.
careers ruined back in the day,
Probably.
right?
Someone
Yeah.
probably got 2 back-to-back bad decisions and never got picked again.
Picked again, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And nowadays players have 3 reviews.
Your review gets retained if it's an umpire's call.
Yeah, so umpires are under the gun nowadays.
yeah.
It was quite the opposite, like even 7-10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So definitely, I feel like my favorite would be Test, and that brings there shouldn't be any discussion on taking
Test cricket out.
Test cricket out.
Never.
No discussion
If
on
cricket's
that.
gotta survive, Test cricket's gotta
That's
stay.
the beauty of the game. You can make 5 other formats.
Yeah.
But Test cricket is where it's at, right?
I mean, thankfully, cricket's back post COVID, and
Cricket's
we've seen
back.
all the cricket's
Ooh.
back, baby, and we've seen all the good Test series we've had since COVID-19 halted everything across the world in March, right?
Yeah.
All the good series we've had since that time. I mean, shout out to West Indies. They were the first team to come out
Yeah.
and travel across the world and play.
New Zealand's been amazing hosts.
Hosts, yep.
And,
Yeah.
and also New Zealand's been an amazing country in tackling COVID.
Yeah.
And probably what enabled them to be a better host too, right?
Yeah,
Because
I
they
mean,
could
you have
ensure-
such a big crowd coming in every game,
Oh, man.
cheering the guys out. Doesn't matter if it's the opposition, if it's the home country.
Yeah.
Everyone's gotten a cheer in New Zealand,
I'm just
and
grateful to be on the ground and watching some good old Test cricket.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
it.
for
And
sure.
New Zealand really played amazing this season.
Yeah, I mean,
Right?
Williamson's gone above and beyond
Oh
everyone
my
and scored
God.
like
Oh my god.
a bucket load of runs.
Every and what's there to really notice in this is the pitches he has done this in.
Yeah.
Day 1 wickets were green.
Yeah.
It's grass
It's
wickets.
grass wickets.
These are bowling friendly conditions.
Yeah.
And especially with New Zealand's overcast conditions.
Yeah.
These wickets aren't the ideal condition to score a double century, but Kane Williamson. He took in the pressure, and also they have lost both the innings. He scored the double centuries on.
century, yeah.
They lost early wickets.
Yeah,
so he
and
came in
very
soaked
early.
the pressure in.
Yeah.
every bit of pressure there was on the team. He just captain's knock, soaked everything in, and then he played at his own pace.
Yeah.
I remember watching the first few parts of his innings, and very interesting to note that whenever he comes out in a situation like this, his first 50 runs are probably at like a 40,
Just like tapping here
40
and
strike
then
rate.
40 strike rate. Yeah, he's just
right?
knocking it around.
He has zero worry in the world and how he's gonna score that.
Yeah.
Right? He's just knocking around, no risk, zero risk shots.
Yeah.
Everything, taken control of. And then you see him accelerate, right?
Yeah.
And slowly he'd reach his 100 with a 60 strike rate, right? So it's just great to see how he controls the pace of the game. I guess that's a skill of a great batsman.
Yeah, I would
right?
say like the bio bubble era has given us. I mean, I think we should call it the bio bubble era. So many bio bubbles going
True
around
that,
ever,
true
right?
that.
Yeah, so I think it's shown like class of a lot of new guys, and
Yeah.
it's brought some guys to the fore. Now they're gonna be playing some high quality cricket for their countries. So
Yeah.
someone like Shubman Gill, Cameron Green, these guys are really coming
Pukovsky.
up. Pukovsky.
First 50.
I mean, 22
Yeah,
year olds.
we're talking about all these young guys, or one name we haven't mentioned, and it has to be Kyle Jamieson. This
Oh,
guy,
yeah.
what a revelation!
Tower, yeah,
Wow,
Tower.
like he's 6'8", I think. Like, what a revelation he has been for New Zealand cricket.
Yeah.
Coming in, bowling at that's the beauty about Kyle Jamieson.
10 wickets last test.
Last
Yeah.
test 10 like he
10
had a
wickets.
10 wicket
I
haul.
think
In
he's got
only
like
his fourth
36. He's got like 36 in the whole year.
Exactly,
In
yeah.
like 6 tests.
He was also named the test team of the year last year.
Yeah.
That thing about Kyle Jamieson, like he's not like a lot of the guys nowadays in Test cricket. Like he's not expressed. This guy just bowls at good hard lengths. That's it, and that's how he gets the players. And with that, like the ball coming from, I don't know, like like a 8 foot like height, like him being 6'8". I don't know, like I feel bad for the batsman. Like
I mean, thankfully Bangladesh cricket's back too,
Yeah.
because we're gonna
Cricket's
see
back.
the boys face up Kyle Jamieson in a few months' time.
oh yeah,
It's
right after
been
the West Indies
it's been
series.
quite a wait, to be honest. Like
10 months, yeah.
I think BCB did great with the domestic leagues, right?
The
Federation
President's Cup and
the
The T20 Cup, right?
T20.
Yeah.
That was great. Of course, there are complaints of the quality of cricket at times, but I feel like not so much President's Cup, but Bongo won the T20 really brought out a lot of quality from our roster,
Yeah.
right? Like
A lot
new
of the
kids.
new kids, the under 19 kids, I mean, shout out to them. The
Yeah.
big World Cup win at the start of 2020.
Guys like Akbar Ali, Shoiful Islam, Parviz Iman, Tohid Riday, Mahmood Hassan Joy,
Yeah, Ridhi.
Shahid Hassan Deepu, all these guys. The left arm spinner, Rocky Bull.
Yeah, great
Ev-
finds.
everyone got a really good, really solid platform, and most importantly, in my opinion, that like the fact that these tournaments were televised, like that should be the norm. Going
Allowed
on
guys
in the
like
future.
us to stay up till 4 a.m. to watch the games,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, finally some.
And I mean, a big credit goes to T Sports for broadcasting all these, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Bangladesh needed that. Bangladesh
Yeah.
needed a dedicated sports
Been
channel.
long due.
And I mean, that's great. It's happening now, and I'm just happy. I can't wait, to be honest. I'm very restless. I can't wait to watch Bangladesh start international cricket again.
Yeah, I mean,
Right?
it's
And that's
gonna be
happening
an,
in 10 days.
Yeah, it's gonna be an exciting series, and
Yeah.
guys, telling you next episode, that's what we're gonna talk about. The
Yeah.
Bangladesh West Indies series that's coming up.
Yeah.
Just stay tuned.
That's
I
There's
think
a
it's
lot
gonna
of lot of new faces.
Yeah.
A lot of new faces.
Nine uncapped players in that one day squad of West
And
Indies.
honestly, I have never been a fan of these, injecting a whole new contingent in a series.
Yeah,
But this time, I've never been more excited.
yeah.
Because
I
all
think
these players are proven. All these players have shown their class. These guys,
they can
a
step
few
up
of
to
these
this
guys
level.
have won under 19 World Cup
Yeah.
for Bangladesh,
Yeah.
and that is huge.
That's something that's never been done before.
That's something that the senior team never did before.
Yeah,
And Parvez Hossein Iman
And Shoriful.
Shoriful Islam, right?
Yeah.
These guys have won the World Cup. So
Yeah.
these guys do bring some experience already. They're
Yeah.
not they're debutants, but they're not as new as they would seem to be, right?
yeah,
So these guys have a lot of potential,
Yeah.
and I'm more than excited to watch these guys, take the field. That's gonna be our next episode on the Bangladesh versus West Indies series coming up, and we're hoping to keep you guys updated with all the new series that come up, right?
yeah.
Although there are a lot of cricket happening this year because of the whole pause in 2020.
Yeah.
Bangladesh playing record
21
amount-
tests or
21
something?
tests
Something
in
that's-
this year.
Something that's never been done
That's
before.
That
that's,
is-
that's, that's 100 days of cricket.
100 days of test cricket.
100
Yeah,
days of test
test.
cricket. Good hard test cricket. Like I don't know when that was like when Bangladesh has been to such an expensive
Rigorous
test,
schedule,
or
yeah.
rigorous test calendar in the
Yeah.
past.
Yeah.
Definitely excited for
Definitely,
that.
that's something very exciting.
Really excited for the West Indies series. As we were recording this podcast, like the West Indies guys, shout out to those guys. These guys came up like to Bangladesh. These guys. As
There was
we're
a whole
speaking-
drama about like not coming,
Not
and
coming,
then
yeah.
finally BCB made it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, kudos goes to BCB. Big shout out to
So
BCB.
guys, we'll catch you in the next episode. That would be on Bangladesh to West Indies series. Thank you for listening to us. It's been a pleasure for us to bring it to you guys. Hopefully you stay with us, listen to our episodes. We hope to go on more in-depth cricket analysis and viewpoints next episode. This was more of an intro from all of us.
Yeah. Getting to know the lads, you know.
Getting to know us, and we get to know you. And please follow Slip Cordon on Instagram. And we will soon we'll post all our updates on the Instagram account.
Yeah.
So please follow the Slip Cordon. Thank you so much. Thanks for listening.
Adios.
Peace.